Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. True wealth is not a measure of material abundance, but rather of inner contentment. This profound idea suggests that one's quality of life and sense of fulfillment are not determined by the volume of possessions amassed, but by the ability to find satisfaction and joy in what is already present. When desires are minimal and manageable, one achieves a state of sufficiency and peace, reducing dependence on external acquisitions. This mindset transcends economic definitions of wealth and delves into a more meaningful understanding of what it means to live a rich life. The concept aligns deeply with the principles of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that emphasizes self-sufficiency and finding happiness within oneself. According to Stoic thinkers like Seneca and Epictetus, true freedom and wealth come not from acquiring more, but from mastering one's desires and appreciating the simple, often overlooked blessings of daily life. Similarly, this notion echoes the teachings of Buddhism, where the cessation of craving, anha, is seen as a path to liberation and enlightenment. In both traditions, contentment is portrayed not as the result of external circumstances, but as an internal state cultivated through mindfulness, reflection, and intentional living. Embracing the wisdom of this quote begins with practical steps that shift focus from accumulation to appreciation. First, practicing gratitude is a powerful way to transform one's mindset. This can be as simple as reflecting daily on the things you are thankful for, whether it's good health, supportive relationships, or the beauty of nature. Gratitude helps reframe your perspective, moving attention away from what is lacking to the abundance that already exists. Second, simplifying one's lifestyle can create space for greater clarity and joy. Decluttering physical possessions not only brings order, but also reinforces the idea that happiness is not dependent on the number of things owned. Minimalism as a lifestyle philosophy is rooted in this principle. By reducing excess and focusing on essentials, one can uncover a deeper sense of purpose and peace. Third, reframing desires is essential for long-term fulfillment. Before pursuing new possessions or ambitions, it's helpful to ask, will this truly bring lasting happiness? Often, the pursuit of more is driven by a sense of inadequacy or comparison rather than genuine need. By questioning the motivation behind desires, one can avoid the trap of endless striving and instead focus on nurturing a sense of completeness. To better understand this principle, consider the timeless story of the wealthy businessman and the humble fisherman. One day, the businessman, while vacationing on a tranquil beach, noticed a fisherman resting beside his modest boat. Curious, the businessman asked why the fisherman wasn't out catching more fish. The fisherman replied, "I catch enough to feed my family and sell a little extra. The rest of my time I spend enjoying life, playing with my children, chatting with friends, and relaxing by the sea." The businessman, seeing an opportunity for advice, suggested if you worked harder, you could catch more fish, save money, buy more boats, and build a fishing empire. With time, you could retire wealthy and then relax and enjoy your life. The fisherman smiled and responded, "But I'm already doing that now." This story illustrates the essence of the quote, "Wealth is not about the endless pursuit of more, but about the ability to savor the present moment and find contentment in simplicity." The fisherman's perspective reflects a deep understanding that life's true riches are often found not in accumulation, but in the relationships, experiences, and simple joys that surround us. In a world that often equates success with material gain and ceaseless ambition, the idea that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants, serves as a countercultural reminder. It challenges the modern narrative of consumerism and invites individuals to redefine their understanding of prosperity. Instead of chasing external markers of success, this philosophy encourages an inward journey towards self-awareness, gratitude, and mindful living. True wealth is achieved not by acquiring more, but by cultivating a state of contentment. It's about mastering one's desires, appreciating the present, and finding joy in what is already within reach. Through simplicity, gratitude, and a reorientation of priorities, one can unlock a life of profound richness and fulfillment. The message of this quote is timeless, urging us to pause, reflect, and embrace the abundance that lies not in things, but in the heart. Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. This profound quote from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus encapsulates a timeless lesson about the nature of life and the power of acceptance. It invites us to recognize the limitations of control and embrace the natural flow of events. Life, by its very nature, is unpredictable, and our resistance to what happens can often be the root cause of our suffering. When we learn to align our expectations with reality, rather than clinging to how we believe things should unfold, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of inner peace, resilience, and harmony. And at its heart, this quote reflects a philosophy that is both deeply practical and transformative. The human tendency is to desire control over outcomes, to wish for events to conform to our plans, desires, and expectations. Yet, life often defies our expectations. Events unfold in ways we could not have anticipated, bringing unexpected challenges, detours, and sometimes even profound disappointments. The wisdom of Epictetus lies in urging us to shift our perspective. Instead of resisting what happens, we can embrace it with openness and adaptability. This is not an invitation to passive resignation or apathy. Rather, it is a call to accept what is, respond wisely, and continue to strive for meaningful goals without being overly attached to specific outcomes. When we resist reality, when we demand that life conform to our exact expectations, we create tension within ourselves. This tension can manifest as frustration, anger, or even despair. On the other hand, when we accept events as they come, we reduce unnecessary suffering and unlock the capacity to adapt and thrive. Acceptance does not mean we stop trying to achieve our goals or improve our circumstances. It simply means we let go of the struggle to control things beyond our reach. Mindfulness is a powerful tool to cultivate this sense of acceptance. Through mindfulness practices, we learn to observe our thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment. When life presents unexpected challenges, mindfulness allows us to step back, take a breath, and respond with clarity rather than reacting impulsively. This creates a space where acceptance and adaptability can flourish. Additionally, reframing challenges as opportunities for growth is another practical approach to living in alignment with this philosophy. Setbacks and adversities, when viewed through the lens of learning and growth, become stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. This shift in perspective empowers us to navigate even the most difficult circumstances with grace and resilience. To understand this concept more deeply, consider the story of May, a young athlete with big dreams. May had trained diligently for years to compete in her national championship. She visualized herself standing on the podium, receiving a gold medal, and bringing pride to her family and coaches. On the day of the event, however, things took an unexpected turn. A sudden downpour caused the competition to be delayed and the format to be altered. Conditions were slippery and the new schedule disrupted May's rhythm and focus. Despite her preparation, May's performance fell short, and she finished in fourth place, far from her goal. At first, May was heartbroken. She replayed the event in her mind, wishing things had gone differently. She blamed herself, the weather, and the circumstances. But her coach, seeing her distress, shared a piece of advice that would transform her perspective. "You can't control the rain," he said, "but you can control how you respond to it. Stop wishing the rain hadn't come and start asking how you can learn from it." These words stayed with May. She realized that much of her suffering came not from the rain or the results of the competition, but from her resistance to what had happened. She had clung to an idealized version of the event, and when reality diverged from that ideal, she had struggled against it. Over time, May began to practice acceptance. She learned to adapt her mindset, focusing on what she could control, her effort, attitude, and preparation, while letting go of her attachment to specific outcomes. At her next competition, May encountered another unexpected challenge, a sudden change in the order of events. This time, however, she approached the situation with calm and adaptability. Instead of fixating on the disruption, she adjusted her strategy and focused on performing her best under the circumstances. While she didn't win the gold medal, May achieved a personal best and felt a profound sense of satisfaction in knowing she had done everything within her control. The story of May highlights how aligning with reality rather than resisting it can lead to growth and fulfillment. The same principle applies beyond the arena of sports. Whether it's a missed opportunity at work, a conflict in relationships, or an unforeseen setback in life, resisting what has already happened only compounds our difficulties. By accepting events as they are and focusing on what we can control, we empower ourselves to respond effectively and constructively. For example, consider someone who loses their job unexpectedly. At first, it's natural to feel shock, disappointment, or fear. However, if they remain stuck in wishing the situation were different, they risk spiraling into frustration and helplessness. On the other hand, by accepting the reality of the situation, they can shift their focus to practical steps. On a empathy, I loved one of my friends at Japanese exposition. He told me that he came up with a way to acceptance becomes the first step toward positive change. In relationships too, acceptance plays a crucial role. No one is perfect, and conflicts are inevitable. Rather than wishing for a partner or friend to be different, embracing them as they are creates space for understanding, connection, and growth. This doesn't mean tolerating harmful behavior, but rather recognizing the humanity in others and working together to navigate challenges. When we embrace life as it is rather than resisting it, we enter a state of flow. This doesn't mean life will always be easy or free of pain, but it does mean that we can move through challenges with greater ease and clarity. Acceptance allows us to subvert our energy for meaningful action rather than wasting it on futile resistance. Ultimately, the wisdom of Epictetus lies in reminding us that life will never be entirely within our control. But by wishing for events to unfold as they will and meeting them with openness and adaptability, we unlock the potential for a life of harmony, growth, and inner peace. You become what you give your attention to. This profound quote speaks to the incredible influence that our focus and intention have on shaping the course of our lives. At its core, it reminds us that attention is not just a passive act, but a deliberate choice that impacts who we are, how we think, and the actions we take. Whatever you consistently direct your attention toward becomes the foundation upon which your identity is built. If your focus is consumed by negativity, distractions, or trivial pursuits, these elements begin to dominate your mental landscape and steer your life. On the contrary, if you choose to concentrate on growth, learning, and positivity, you will find yourself cultivating a life of purpose, fulfillment, and success. In today's fast-pacing world, the power of attention has become even more critical. We live in an age of constant digital stimulation where endless streams of information compete for our focus. Social media, 24-hour news cycles, and countless forms of entertainment can easily draw us into a vortex of distraction, leaving little room for meaningful engagement with our goals and values. As the quote suggests, being mindful of where your attention goes can determine whether your life is driven by intention or consumed by chaos. The practical implications of this idea are vast. Start by carving out a few minutes each day to reflect on how you've spent your attention. Ask yourself, did you focus on activities that align with your goals and values? Were you pulled into unnecessary distractions or negative thought patterns? This simple habit of self-reflection can help you become more aware of how your attention is allocated and empower you to make better choices. Another powerful strategy is to reduce digital clutter. For instance, limit the time you spend on social media by setting daily boundaries or using apps designed to monitor and control your screen time. Replace these moments with activities that add value to your life. Reading, exercising, spending time with loved ones, or working on a passion project. By consciously redirecting your attention to pursuits that nourish your mind and spirit, you create a positive feedback loop that reinforces your desired identity. Equally important is identifying your core values and long-term goals. When you have a clear sense of what truly matters to you, it becomes easier to prioritize your attention. If personal growth is a priority, dedicate time each day to learning something new or developing a skill. If building relationships is important, be fully present when interacting with others. When your attention aligns with your values, every moment becomes an investment in the person you aspire to be. To bring this concept to life, consider the story of Mia, a young professional who found herself stuck in a cycle of frustration and dissatisfaction. Despite working hard and staying busy, she felt unfulfilled and disconnected from her goals. Upon reflecting, Mia realized that much of her attention was consumed by scrolling through social media, comparing her life to others, and engaging in meaningless distractions. Her days were filled with noise but lacked substance. Determined to make a change, Mia adopted a more mindful approach to her attention. She started her mornings by journaling about her priorities and how she wanted to spend her energy. She replaced her social media habit with reading books on personal development and listening to podcasts about creativity and resilience. In the evenings, instead of mindlessly watching television, she revisited a long-forgotten dream of writing a novel. By taking small, intentional steps, Mia gradually shifted her attention from external distractions to her internal aspirations. Over time, these changes not only boosted her confidence, but also rekindled her sense of purpose and joy. You see, on the outside, I have all of this visibility, but below, the world's most dramatic speed ever coming closer and closer to me. One of those moments that left me completely floored, and I was floored for the briefest moment. Then she spun. And Mia's story is a testament to the transformative power of attention. When we consciously choose where to direct our focus, we take control of our narrative. Attention is not just a resource. It is the lens through which we experience and create our reality. By guarding it carefully and directing it toward what truly matters, we can craft a life that reflects our highest values and deepest desires. So in conclusion, you become what you give your attention to is a guiding principle for anyone seeking to live intentionally and meaningfully. It challenges us to be mindful of how we use our attention, reminding us that every choice, no matter how small, has the power to shape our identity. Whether you aspire to personal growth, meaningful relationships, or creative fulfillment, the key lies in directing your attention toward pursuits that align with your vision of the best version of yourself. In doing so, you not only transform your own life, but also inspire those around you to do the same. It is the nature of the wise to resist pleasures, but the foolish to be a slave to them. This quote captures a profound truth about human nature and the balance between self-discipline and indulgence. It underscores the idea that wisdom involves recognizing the fleeting nature of temporary pleasures and prioritizing long-term well-being and fulfillment over short-lived gratification. On the other hand, succumbing to immediate desires can lead to a cycle of dependence, regret, and missed opportunities for meaningful achievements. Temporary pleasures often present themselves as quick fixes or instant rewards. Eating an unhealthy meal, buying something unnecessary on impulse, or procrastinating in favor of entertainment might bring short-term joy or relief. However, these actions often lead to long-term consequences, such as deteriorating health, financial instability, or feelings of inadequacy. when important goals remain unmet. The ability to resist these impulses lies at the heart of self-discipline, a quality that separates the wise from the unwise. Wisdom in this context is not about abstaining from all pleasures, but about discerning which pleasures align with our values and long-term aspirations. It requires developing a mindset that sees beyond the immediate moment, recognizing the ripple effects of our choices. For example, someone who chooses to save money for a future goal rather than spending it impulsively understands the greater joy and satisfaction that comes from achieving a meaningful milestone. By the way, similarly, a person who opts for consistent exercise over the temporary comfort of lounging on the couch reaps the long-term benefits of health and vitality. One way to cultivate this wisdom is by practicing delayed gratification, the ability to postpone immediate rewards in favor of more significant outcomes. This skill can be developed through intentional habits and small, consistent steps, setting achievable goals, creating structured routines, and rewarding oneself for progress can help reinforce positive behaviors. For instance, a student preparing for a crucial exam may create a study schedule that includes short breaks and small rewards such as a favorite snack or activity after completing specific tasks. This approach balances discipline with manageable pleasures, making the journey towards success more sustainable. The importance of resisting fleeting temptations is vividly illustrated in the story of Maya, a young entrepreneur with big dreams. At the outset of her career, Maya earned a modest income and faced the dilemma familiar to many young professionals: whether to spend her earnings on luxury items to fit in with her peers or to invest in her long-term vision. While her friends splurged on expensive clothes and exotic vacations, Maya chose a different path. She lived frugally, saving every penny she could to fund her business idea. Maya's journey was not without challenges. The temptation to indulge in short-term pleasures was constant, and she often faced criticism from friends who questioned her choices. There were moments when she doubted her decision, especially during the early stages of building her startup, when progress seemed slow and setbacks were frequent. Yet, Maya remained committed to her vision, reminding herself that the temporary sacrifices she was making would pave the way for something far greater. Years later, Maya's perseverance paid off. Her startup grew into a thriving enterprise, providing her not only with financial stability, but also with a profound sense of accomplishment and purpose. Reflecting on her journey, Maya often shared her insights with others, saying, "The satisfaction of achieving your dreams is infinitely more rewarding than the fleeting joy of giving in to temporary pleasures." Her story became an inspiration to many, demonstrating the power of self-discipline and the value of prioritizing long-term goals over instant gratification. Maya's story exemplifies the wisdom embedded in the quote. Resisting pleasures does not mean living a life devoid of joy or spontaneity. Rather, it means exercising discernment and aligning our choices with our deeper values and aspirations. When we allow ourselves to be ruled by fleeting desires, we become enslaved to them, losing sight of the greater freedom and fulfillment that come from self-mastery. And in a broader sense, this principle applies to all areas of life. A person who prioritizes maintaining healthy relationships over indulging in momentary anger or resentment builds bonds that endure and bring lasting happiness. An individual who invests time and effort in learning and personal growth, rather than being distracted by superficial entertainment, achieves a depth of understanding and skills that opens doors to new opportunities. These examples underscore the transformative power of discipline in shaping a meaningful and fulfilling life. The quote also invites us to reflect on the cultural and societal forces that often glorify instant gratification. In a world driven by consumerism and the constant lure of quick fixes, it takes courage and wisdom to resist the pressure to conform. The ability to pause, reflect, and choose actions that align with our higher purpose is a hallmark of true wisdom. Ultimately, mastery over desires is not about deprivation, but about liberation. When we cultivate the strength to resist fleeting temptations, we free ourselves from the cycles of dependence and dissatisfaction they often create. Instead, we gain the clarity and freedom to pursue what truly matters. A disciplined life enables us to achieve our most meaningful aspirations, fostering a sense of inner peace and fulfillment that no temporary pleasure can match. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. This quote encapsulates a profound truth about human experience. Our tendency to place undue importance on external factors often leads to emotional instability and a sense of powerlessness. These factors might include other people's opinions, societal expectations, material possessions, or outcomes of events, all of which are inherently unpredictable and beyond our influence. And by the nature, they are out of determination. There are also those of us that are downright relatable and beyond our influence. When we tie our happiness, self-worth, or peace of mind to these externalities, we risk subjecting ourselves to constant disappointment and frustration. At its core, the idea of control is about agency. What can we influence directly? Our thoughts, our actions, our attitudes, and the effort we put into our pursuits falls squarely within this domain. Conversely, the behavior of others, the outcomes of our endeavors, and the unfolding of circumstances are external variables over which we have little to no authority. By valuing these external elements excessively, we place our sense of stability in the hands of forces we cannot command, leaving us vulnerable to emotional turbulence. Focusing on what we can control not only fosters emotional resilience, but also enhances our ability to navigate life's challenges with clarity and purpose. This shift from external dependency to internal focus is transformative. It enables us to find empowerment in situations where we might otherwise feel powerless, and to maintain composure in the face of uncertainty. Let's consider the story of Anna, a young and passionate artist. Anna dreamed of having her artwork displayed in a prestigious gallery. She spent months pouring her soul into her paintings, refining every detail with meticulous care. As the gallery's submission review approached, her anticipation turned into anxiety. She began to obsess over whether her art would be accepted. The thought of rejection consumed her, and she imagined the judgment of others, friends, family, even strangers, if her work failed to gain recognition. Anna's focus shifted away from her love of creating art to the potential validation she sought from the gallery's approval. When the gallery ultimately declined her submission, her world seemed to collapse. She questioned her talent, avoided her studio, and spiraled into self-doubt. It wasn't just the rejection that hurt. It was the value she had placed on an outcome she couldn't control. One day, Anna's mentor, a seasoned artist, gave her a piece of advice that changed her perspective. Your art is not about their judgment. It's about your expression. The only thing you can control is the passion and effort you bring to each piece. Let go of their approval. At first, Anna struggled to embrace this mindset, but as she reflected, she realized the wisdom in her mentor's words. Gradually, she returned to her craft, this time focusing on her joy and authenticity rather than external validation. She experimented freely, creating pieces that resonated deeply with her. Over time, her work began to gain organic recognition from audiences who appreciated its authenticity and emotional depth. Sit back and say to yourself, you know what? This ain't theater, this ain't that. By shifting her focus to what she could control, her dedication and creative voice, Anna rediscovered her purpose and found renewed confidence. Anna's journey illustrates the practical wisdom embedded in the quote, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." It offers several actionable lessons. 1. Define your control zones. A simple yet powerful exercise is to list what is within your control versus what is not. For instance, you control your effort, discipline, and perspective, but not others' reactions or external circumstances. This clarity helps channel your energy effectively. 2. Detach from outcomes. Instead of fixating on results, focus on the process. Celebrate the effort you put in and the growth you achieve. This mindset not only reduces anxiety, but also makes the journey more fulfilling. 3. Practice emotional resilience. Develop the habit of reminding yourself that your worth is not tied to external factors. This can involve mindfulness practices, journaling, or simply pausing to reflect on your intrinsic values. 4. Reframe disappointments. Use setbacks as opportunities to reflect and recalibrate. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? This approach transforms challenges into stepping stones for growth. 5. Focus on authenticity. By redirecting our focus from uncontrollable externals to the areas within our influence, we liberate ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. This shift not only enhances our emotional well-being, but also strengthens our ability to navigate life's inevitable uncertainties. We become more present, more grounded, and more attuned to what truly matters: our values, our passions, and our inner peace. Ultimately valuing what we can control, our thoughts, attitudes, and efforts, leads to a life of stability, empowerment, and genuine fulfillment. As Anna discovered, letting go of external dependencies frees us to pursue our dreams with clarity and confidence, allowing us to find joy and purpose in the journey itself. Unified wisdom from Stoic teachings. When we reflect on these principles collectively, a clear roadmap for a fulfilling life emerges. Seek fulfillment through reducing desires and appreciating what you already have. Embrace reality as it unfolds, adapting to challenges with grace and learning from every experience. Your attention shapes your identity and destiny. Guard it and channel it toward growth and positivity. Master your impulses to prioritize long-term rewards over short-term gratification. Concentrate on what is within your power, letting go of external dependencies to achieve inner peace. By applying these teachings, we can cultivate a life of balance, wisdom, and purpose, navigating challenges with resilience and living in harmony with the world around us.